What is your message to China about this judicial process and what they're doing to the two Michaels?
That the eyes of the world are looking at China. Today, as you saw, there were 23 countries, diplomats from those countries represented in front of the courtroom, and there were equally a number of them, about 10, in Dandong when Michael Spavor had his trial. This is a very encouraging and clear indication that other countries in the world are also very preoccupied with arbitrary detention. And as you know, on the 15th of February, I made the announcement of the Declaration on Arbitrary Detention in State-to-State Relations. And I think that, it's very important for China to get the message, and we're going to continue to bring that message to them, that you cannot operate. If China wants to have relations with other countries, that's fine. But when you have a disagreement with another country, you don't arrest their citizens on trumped-up charges and then conduct a trial. That is the message that we're carrying to them. And if China wants to operate on the world stage, that's fine. They're a major country. We're happy to do that. But it must operate according to international rules. And that's the message we're carrying to them. It cannot operate with other countries through coercive diplomacy.
Did Canada coordinate with the embassies of the other 23 countries who showed up outside of the courtroom in Beijing for Michael Kovig's trial, like the U.S. and the U.K.? Was that an initiative that you and Canada actually worked to coordinate to make a statement to the Chinese?
Yes, it is. We notified them of the trial dates, and they chose to come. Remember, these are countries that are part of the 58 countries that signed the Declaration on Arbitrary Detention. So they're very invested in this, and we were very gratified that they joined us to make this strong statement to the Chinese government.
Why was only the Canadian chargé d'affaires there? Why didn't the Canadian ambassador to China, Dominic Barton, show up outside the courtroom?
Well, we recalled Dominic Barton about a week ago. We wanted him to come back to Canada. He's been back in Canada for a number of days, and he is in Canada for some strategic discussions with the government of Canada with respect to China. So it is a decision we made quite a few number of days ago.
What in particular, if anything, is the United States doing to support Canada's demand for the release of Michael Kovig and Michael Spavor?
Well, of course, we are working with our neighbors to the south, and President Biden and Secretary Blinken have each strongly stated that they realize how important this is for Canada, and they have even said that they are treating the Michaels as though they were American citizens. And this is an indication of how seriously they realize this issue is for Canada. In fact, they invited a couple of Canadian government officials last week to Washington prior to the Anchorage, Alaska trip to discuss the Michaels and other issues. And so we're working very closely together with the United States and trying to find a way that we can secure the release. In the meantime, of course, the chargé d'affaires from the United States today made a statement in front of the courthouse as well. Right. So the United States has been very supportive with respect to arbitrary detention and is working with Canada to find, to try to help to see if there is a way to secure the release of the Michaels.
Minister, just let me just circle back to why on such a critical time, after more than 2 years, they've been sitting in court, they finally get their date in court, this is the world's watching. Why would Canada recall our ambassador, Dominic Barton, back to Canada at this critical time? Wouldn't this be the very moment where he should be doing his job in China?
Dominic Barton has been doing a phenomenal job in China and can still do his job whether he's in Canada or over there. As I say, we recalled him a number of days ago because we wanted to discuss the larger and very important question of our relations with China. So that is an extremely important part of his job. And may I say that Jim Nicol, the charge d'affaires, did a wonderful job in both Dandong and Beijing on Friday and Monday.
I want to move to the targeted sanctions that Canada joined in with the United States, the UK, and the EU outside of Hungary in response to reports of the dramatic human rights abuses against the Muslim minority Uyghur population in Western China. There were 4 officials named and one entity, one production and construction company. Why did Canada join this, and what message does this send?
Well, we've been sending the message for a long time that we're extremely preoccupied with the human rights violations that have been credibly reported in Xinjiang. We have said for many months, we've gone through the United Nations Human Rights Council, but we've also said very clearly, I probably said it on your last program, that we are working with our partners to arrive at a coordinated, solid position that we will present to China. And today, I think, was a very clear indication of us coordinating together, because Canada, the United States, the UK, and the European Union all spoke with one voice to say very, very clearly that we are deeply preoccupied with the human rights violations that are happening in Xinjiang.
Okay, and I want to get to why these 4 people in the entity, but just, was this linked? I know the Prime Minister said today this was not linked to the 2 Michaels, but the timing's pretty auspicious, right? Like, the trial of the 2 Michaels happens the day, today, and then the same very day of Michael Kovrig trial, you get the sanctions on the Uyghurs. Are they connected?
No, they're not connected. We have been working on 2 tracks very clearly for a number of months. One is on arbitrary detention, specifically of our 2 Canadian citizens. And the other track that we've been working on is, and this is fundamental to our principles and values, the question of human rights violations. Now, we wanted to come out today in a demonstration of multilateral cooperation involving a significant number of countries, and that happened to be something that we were all working towards a specific date, and that date was today. But it is coincidence because we didn't know until fairly recently when the trial dates would occur for the 2 Michaels.
Canada is now sanctioning these. Why these 4 officials and this one company? I mean, obviously, we're talking about 1.5 million Uyghurs possibly in detention. It's got to be more than 4 people. Why these 4?
Well, these are very senior officials, and when we apply what are Magnitsky sanctions, we look very carefully at who are the major players and primarily the decision makers. And the 4 people that were named today are also people that we discussed with our partners, the European Union, the UK, and the United States, and that is the decision that we took, and that is the message that we're sending. These people were very much involved in the decisions that resulted in arbitrary detention of over 1 million Uyghurs, involved in decisions with respect to forced labor, re-education, torture, forced sterilization, all of those things. These are major players in that respect, and they're the ones that we named today.
I remind you that as you list all those things, those are all reached the threshold of what would constitute a genocide according to the International Geneva Convention on Genocide, which Canada signed back, of course, in 1948. Finally, though, Canada can also take unilateral action, banning Huawei from 5G, de-investing in the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank that China runs. Are those on the table for you, sir? We
are always examining our relationship with China. China is a country that when it's time to challenge it, we will challenge it. So it's an evolving relationship. China has changed a great deal, as you know, in the last 5 years, and we will continue to evaluate our relationship with China as we go forward. But today, I think, was an encouraging sign of us demonstrating that we are cooperating multilaterally, whether it's on arbitrary detention or on human rights violations, and that will continue to be the case. We, as I said, don't have a problem with China being a major country, which it is, but it must play by the rules.
Well, not doing that for the Michaels and on a number of other issues. Marc Garneau, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, thank you, sir. Always appreciate your time.
You're welcome.